Hi Stampers, welcome to Great Inspirations. My name is Kim Tolbert and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in southeastern Indiana. Welcome to another one of my Stamp Happy Holidays videos. And today I am using this card right here that you may remember from a few videos back that I made, and of course the little horse rocks. I am using this for inspiration for this little box. And what's inside this little box, you may ask? Just undo the ribbon here and open it up. And we're going to find all kinds of cute little tags. I have the rocking horse. And then some little Christmas trees with "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." And also I have just these cute little tags wishing you an old-fashioned Christmas with some gifts at the bottom. And I colored all these in with the alcohol markers, the Stampin' Blends, as I did with the rocking horse. Of course, I used some gold embossing powder for the "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." And I decided these would be cute for a little gift of tags. I like to give tags to my family members. I try to give them to them on Thanksgiving, and then they will have them for their holiday gift giving. But these tags were really super simple to make because all I had to do was stamp the rocking horse multiple times, of course, depending on how many tags you want. And then I colored it. And then for the back, I just die cut, die cut this, and then I die cut a second one. Die cut one, of course it was colored, and then die cut a second one, and they're simply adhered together. And I did the same for the trees. Now, of course, I've used the rocking horse bundle for these, but for this tree, I used, let's look at these real quick, just to refresh your memory. Here's the rocking horse stamp set, and then here are the coordinating dies. There's the rocking horse. So I used this bundle for the tags, and then the merriest, got some lint here, the merriest trees, the stamp set, and the dies. I used this tree right here for the "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," which is right here. And then this is, like, to me, a bonus with this set of dies. This is nice size tag die. And of course, I used it to cut out these. It made it so quick and easy. So we'll just put these away. Now you know what products I used. And again, I just die cut 2 each, so there'll be one for the front and one for the back. Same with the trees, front and back. So I thought, oh, if I'm going to give these as a gift, I'm going to need some kind of a container. And that's when I came up with this box. And yes, boxes, we make them all the time. They're very easy to make. There's several different ways to do them. The one that I made is just a straightforward box with the lid. And I have lined it with some designer series paper. But you may be saying, well, how do I know how big to make my box? Well, that's quite easy. Just put our little box here and we'll tie that ribbon in a minute. But when your tags are finished, you can just get them all lined up. Oops, that goes to the card. Get them all lined up. And then all you need to do is measure, find where's the tallest. Well, this is the tallest point right here. So measure from here to here, and you'll get the width you need. Then for the length, measure the longest point down to here, and that will give you your width. Now, to know how tall to make it, what you can do is put all of your tags together, and then you'll need a a ruler. And here's one I've had like for a millennia, I think. And just measure. Now, for tags, I find that a height of 1 inch is just fine, because you can get a lot of tags. There's 12 right here, and it's way under an inch. It's just over, it's maybe a quarter. But you don't want to make your box so short that you have trouble getting the lid on and off, or it will collapse inside itself. And so I find for tags, especially like this, you can get maybe 2 dozen or more in a box that is 1 inch tall. Okay, so let's put these all back in here, and put the lid on. As you can see, I just put a piece of Designer Series paper on the top. This little guy is put on with some dimensionals, and then I just threaded the ribbon underneath him, and we're just going to pull it around, and we'll tie it. So there we go. So now we have some tags, and actually the tags match the card real well. So if you wanted to give the card and the tags together, you could do that. But we're going to set these aside right now, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the box. So for the gift tags, the size that I made for these, and I honestly think it's a pretty good size for tags. You'll need 2 pieces of cardstock. They can be the same color, they can be contrasting colors. If you're going to use a Designer Series paper or printed paper on the top, it can coordinate with that. But I'm going to make a box using Lost Lagoon. This is for the box, and it's 4 5/8 by 5 7/8. And then the lid is basic white, and this is just the regular basic white. It's not the thick. You could use the thick if you wanted, but it is 4 3/4 by 6. So basically, this piece is just 1/8 of an inch taller and 1/8 of an inch wider than the box. That's the lid. And then we also are going to need, if you want to put a little piece of Designer Series paper on top, you will need that, and it is cut at 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. Now all these measurements and instructions and all that kind of thing will be found on my corresponding blog post, and the link to that blog post will be in the description of this video. So here we have our box lid, and then our little decorative paper for the top of our box. Now it's really simple to do these. Like I said, we've done them before, and all we need to do, get the cutting blade out of the way, we are going to score at 1 inch on all sides. So there's one side, turn it over to the next. 2 sides. We'll do the 3rd side. And then our 4th and final side of this piece of cardstock. Okay, so there we go. It's scored at 1 inch all the way around. So that's the bottom of our box, or actually our box. So now for the lid, we do the exact same thing. 1 inch all the way around. Okay, turn. And then we're going to go 1 inch. Reminding myself to use the score blade and not the cutting blade. And then our final side. And there we go. It's all scored all the way around at 1 inch. And of course we'll take our bone folder and go over these creases to make sure they're nice and crisp. Okay, we're going to put the trimmer away. And now it's time to begin to construct this. And to save us a little time, I've already gone ahead and I cut the flaps. Like I said, we've done all this before, but just in case you want a refresher, I'll do this corner. I just use my snips and cut from here to the score line, and then I go back at a slight angle and just cut a little piece out, just mitering the corners. And then we're going to do it again on the outside. There we go. And now we're done with these. You can get that bone folder. Just go along right like that. We need to fold it this way. And now we just have one more side to go. So there's the bottom of our box. All we have left to do is to adhere it. So there's that. And now we're going to do the same thing for the top. And as you can see, I've already cut all the corners and mitered them. I don't know why I did that this side up. It worked. All right, so here's our lid. And we'll just need to adhere it together. But before we do that, I'm going to put our Designer Series paper right here. So get some adhesive. There we go. And let's see now, let me bring this in. I'm using Stampin' Seal Plus for these corners. You can use tear and tape. If you're patient, which I am not that patient, you can use some liquid glue. I would just suggest you use some strong adhesive because we don't want our box coming apart. Okay, now this is the easy part. We just match everything up just like that. There we go. So there's our box top. Now we'll do our box. Once again, I'm just putting the adhesive on the flaps. And just like we did for the top, we just fold our flaps in and press to adhere. There we go. There's our box. Now, like I said, if you wish, open this back up. If you want to put the Designer Series paper in there, you can do that, and I have on my blog, there will be the cutting measurements for those, but we'll skip that on this box because see, you really don't need it. And then we just put our little lid on. Oops, oh, it's getting caught. There we go. There's our box. Now, I did notice I forgot a little something. You see on here, all I did before I constructed this box was I cut a notch. I used a 1-inch circle punch. You can use what you have. Any circle punch. Sometimes you can just even do it with a little square. You can also, if you have a small die, you can use a die. You just have to do it before. Like I said, I forgot on this one. But what I did, when this was all out like this, because this is, I know this is 6 inches across, so what I did was, okay, 6 inches, half of 6 is 3, so I put this right at 3, and I just made a little notch. Now, it may be hard to see. And then I did the same thing on this side. And then I just made that little notch again. And if you'll bear with me a second, I'll run over to my punches and grab my punch and show you what I did. Okay, I have my 1-inch punch, and this was from Stampin' Up. It is retired at this point, but you may have one or have similar. And then all I did was I centered my circle as best I could on this notch that I made. Then I just punched. And I did the same thing over here. And I just punched. So, what that does, and I can do it on this one. See how it makes it difficult to open if you don't have these little notches. So let me just try as best I can. Not too bad. So then we put this on here, and now it makes it much easier to open. We punch out those little, I guess those are actually notches too. So anyway, that is how I made this little box. And of course you can decorate it any way you want. Put some ribbon around it. You can, you know, I put the little rocking horse on this with the ribbon. You could leave it just like that if you like. Maybe put a little tag on it. Let's tie this back up. My bow tying is not that great today. Okay. Here we go, and I'll trim these ends a little bit. I think this one's okay, but we'll trim this one. And now, my little rocking horse with its other tags inside are ready to go. And like I said, you could give them as a gift with this card, or, you know, keep it separately. That's totally up to you. We'll put this over here, and here's the box we just made. There was one more thing I wanted to talk with you about. As you saw, some of those tags, they had a hole in the top. That's great. And that's, with this die, it cuts that hole. And that is great, because then you can just pop that ribbon or twine or whatever right through that hole. But what if you don't have a hole and you really don't want to use a hole punch because, you know, your design may be just a little thin? Well, that's super simple to take care of. All we need is have some linen thread here, and this is 6 inches. And then I'm just going to put some Stampin' Seal Plus right here. We're just going to put our linen thread right on that. And then I'm going to put a little more Stampin' Seal Plus on here. Flip it around. I like this Stampin' Seal Plus because it has little perforations on the adhesive, so it breaks off very easily, and you can just put a teeny dab where you want it. So that makes it nice. And then if I get any over the edge, you just flip it back on itself. And now all you have to do, and we're going to take the one I haven't colored in yet, we're just going to line it up. And that is how I got my little string on all the tags in here that didn't have the pre-punched hole. So there's that little tip. So there you go. You can make boxes of tags and give us gifts if you like. And I find, at least the people that I know who I give cards to and tags, they like both. My sisters, they all use the cards that I make and give to them, but the tags, they use them up and they just seem to never have enough, be it for Christmas or birthdays or whatever. So I do enjoy making tags to give as gifts. Once again, all of the supplies for this box and the tags inside, the measurements, all those kinds of things will be found on my corresponding blog post. And the link to that blog post is found in the description of this video. I will also link the blog post where I talked about this little card if you missed that and would like to make the little card with the rocking horse that rocks. And so there you have it. Thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, stamp happy.